Hey Internet, welcome to Worldview Everlasting, your favorite YouTube addiction.
This episode of Worldview Everlasting is brought to you by the letter Awesome, the numbers Sweet Action, and Issues Etc. Talk radio for the thinking Christian. issuesetc.org.
And on this week's Greek Tuesday, Mark chapter 10, verses 32 to 45, Jesus' third crucifixion prediction, and a little then gravy thrown on the top. So definitely you want to stick around. But first, some of you may know, some of you may not know, in the last couple of weeks, which for you now as you're receiving this is like a month ago, I received a divine call to a different congregation in the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. This is a fairly normal thing. There's quite a bit of pastoral movement in the Missouri Synod at any given time, and anytime a pastor gets this kind of thing, he usually will give it some attention and then decide, should I stay or should I go? Long story short, after a lot of struggle to try to figure out what was the right thing for all parties involved, I pulled the trigger, made the hard choice, and accepted the call.
Ninjas can actually do that.
Of course, for you, this doesn't really impact you directly, right, if you're a regular viewer, but you might start to wonder, what does this mean for Worldview Everlasting? So let me just give you the rundown real quick. What it means is that in the next couple of weeks of recording, we're going to be sort of breaking down the studio and moving to another place. So during that time period, the look and feel of Worldview Everlasting is going to get a bit less professional. Now, this happens to dovetail nicely into the fact that our edit monkey, Peter Slayton, is expecting a child and his wife will soon be giving birth. Woohoo! And so it'll actually be kind of at the same time where he wouldn't have quite the time to do the editing anyway.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
During that time period, I'm going to still be getting content out to you, but it's going to be iPad derived, straight upload, no edited, no silly goofy videos, but here's your content, short 5-minute videos. We're doing this because we know that you're not here at Worldview Everlasting for the fun, although the fun is fun, but you're here for the content, the preaching of Christ crucified, and we want to make sure that even in this transition, that continues to be there for you. At the same time, just know that at the end of the day, we're hoping to do even more with the show and above and beyond with this new location. One of the selling points for me in my own head was the ability to devote at least a couple hours a week to the show, which right now I barely am able to do that. We'll reserve saying what those improvements will be, but needless to say, this does not in any way affect the Lutheran Ninja Clan. Whether here or there, the money that is given to support Worldview Everlasting does not come to me and mine and my household, right? I have a full-time job as a pastor. What it does is it supports the editing process, which needs to continue to be outsourced. There is no way that I will be able to go back to being the editor of the videos as I was way back in the day when this stuff got started. So if you're on the Lutheran Ninja Clan, stick with us, stay with us. You're doing a good work. You want the show to keep going and get bigger. We're hoping to make some of that happen. Yeah. This video, and I think maybe one more Ask the Pastor video, will be, lights, camera, action style before we break down into maybe a 1-week break and then some check-in videos. But just be aware, things are going to shift, but we see a light at the end of the tunnel and we're moving that direction. Yeah.
You said don't go into the light.
Meanwhile, those of you who are Bethany members who view this show, and I don't think you're a majority, I think you're a small number of the viewers, I just want to say thank you so much for supporting me and my family as I've served here in Naperville. It's been a joy in so many ways. It is hard to leave you, and we will miss you desperately. We do hope to return and visit.
Do or do not. There is no try.
So anyway, let's get to Greek Tuesday for now, yeah? And again, as I said a couple of weeks ago, even right now with the lights, camera, action, I'm not studying the Greek. I have too many things on the plate Lent, and now a pending move to give the attention to detail that it needs, but I want to make sure we get some of that content out to you anyway. So here we have Mark chapter 10, in which Jesus is making his third crucifixion prediction in Mark. I would really like to know more about the book of Mark. It's one of the kind of more confusing gospels to me. And I said in earlier videos about the content of Mark and whatnot, I was making heavy use of James Veltz's commentary on the book of Mark from Concordia Publishing House. But you'll notice it only goes up to chapter 8, verse 26, which means this text has nothing to do with it. So even though I'd like to be able to apply everything that I've learned to it, I just don't know that I can do that today. But what I can do is give you the punch. which in this text is kind of hard to miss. You're preaching the gospel. You want to preach about Jesus, and you open the text and it says, "And they were on the road going up to Jerusalem, and Jesus was walking ahead of them, and they were amazed, and those who followed were afraid. And taking the 12 again, he began to tell them what would happen to him, saying, See, we go up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and deliver him over to the Gentiles, and they will mock him and spit on him and flog him and kill him, and after 3 days he will rise." And the 12 are like,
You're making random noises with your mouth and then hoping that some of them are words?
Jesus, we don't know what to make of this. Spitting and flogging a little bit much. Rise? What's that mean? Don't get it. Don't get it.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Which is the entire point of Mark's gospel, right? That nobody really understands until after Jesus' resurrection. And even that is left as sort of this enigma where you as a reader are like, whoa, he's risen, even as the women are running away afraid. That is, if you hold to the shorter ending of Mark, which I do, and we good Lutherans can debate that point. But what is not debatable is that Jesus, all the way through his life on earth, knows that he didn't come here to live a life on earth. He didn't come here to build up a following and get together a community and make sure everyone found their vision and got success.
I knew it was time to begin to believe God for a new airplane.
He came here to get murdered. What? To get killed. He was born, put in a cradle with cows and donkeys lowing around him in order to grow up and get murdered with nails and spikes driven into a cross, driven into a beam of wood. So he was dead, dead, dead. Nail, spear will pierce him through the cross he bore for me, for you, right? All that good stuff. Yeah! And here he is telling them again, this is what's going to happen. Make no mistake, reader. Make no mistake here. The Christ has come to suffer and die. Now, the response of the disciples, I'm sure in the moment I'm reading into that, they're like, well, I don't know. But what we do know is that James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Jesus nicknames them the sons of thunder. Jesus clearly had a sense of humor. Approached him after this and say, hey, teacher, we would like to sit on your right hand and on your left hand. And you can only imagine, Jesus is like, I'm going to die. I'm going to Jerusalem to be murdered. And they're like, can we sit on your right and your left hand in your kingdom? They still think he's going to set up his messianic reign from the Jerusalem capital right now, somehow without this suffering. And so Jesus responds to them,
You serious?
You don't know what you're asking, because he is going to have somebody at his right and at his left as he is entering his kingdom on the cross, crowned with thorns. He has 2 thieves there being murdered with him. They don't get it. He's like, you don't understand who's going to be sitting there. You don't even know what you're asking for. To die with me? Are you ready for this? Now, of course, these guys we know from tradition do die with him eventually, but they're not ready for it because they don't understand that it's not about this life now, it's about the world to come, with this life dead in the grave that Jesus paid for us. Are you able to drink the cup I drink, or be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized? And here he is talking about the baptism of his suffering and death, the baptism of wrath, of total killing of sin, which is what baptism in fact does to you by promise of uniting you to a death like his, so you can know you're united to him in a resurrection like his. Wait, did Pastor Fisk just say that baptism unites you to Jesus? Yeah, I was just quoting Romans 6, and I know a lot of Protestants don't think it has anything to do with baptism, but it uses the word over and over again, so we Lutherans tend to believe it. Anyway, notice their arrogance. We are able, they say. Of course, Jesus, we can follow you. We'll follow you to the ends of the earth. We'll never run away. Right? But of course, you know that they do on the night that he's betrayed. Everybody flees.
Run away! Run away! Run away!
Jesus, being standard Jesus, rebukes them in the most sort of hard line way possible. He just looks at them and says, yep, you're right. You are going to drink the cup that I drink. You just don't know what that is yet. You are going to suffer. You are going to die. Think of when he calls Saul to be Paul. He says, I will show you how much you will suffer for my name. And you will be baptized with the baptism with which I am baptized, which is to say that baptism in fact does unite you to Christ. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not for me to grant, but for those for whom it has been prepared. Again, think of the thieves next to him. One who does not repent, one who repents and believes the gospel and is with Jesus today, now in paradise. Now, of course, the 10, the other apostles, when they hear this, that James and John have asked for this, they get indignant. They get angry. Hey guys, why are you trying to get a leg up on us? That ain't cool. And so Jesus rebukes them all. You're not understanding this, people. It's not about power. Christianity is not about power. It's not about success. It's not about victory. It's not about strength. It's about dying and knowing as you die why you're dying. It's because of your sin, and knowing that as you die, Jesus lives and is going to raise you again. Meanwhile, you know that those who are considered rulers amongst the nations lord it over them. They use use their power as if it's given to them for them, rather than for the ones they serve by having power over them. And their great ones exercise authority over them. That sounds like kind of really nice. I think it's more along the lines of tyrannize them.
Are you not entertained?
But it shall not be so among you. Whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be the slave of all. There's no more surefire way to fail to earn your way to the top of heaven than to think you're going to earn your way to the top of heaven by being on the bottom now and saying, if I do the bottom grungy work now, therefore I'll be righteous. This is justification by works, and Jesus is not teaching that. But what he is teaching is that true greatness, true goodness is serving. In vocation, whatever vocation you have. Are you a mom and got to change a diaper? You're serving that baby. You have authority and you're using it to serve. Are you a child and have a mother telling you to clean your room? You don't have authority, but you can still serve in vocation by obeying authority, right? So it's not like authority's bad. It's understanding that authority is good and it's given in vocation and recognizing the giver of this, right? Here they are coming asking for a different vocation, and Jesus is like, no, you got your own vocation coming, so learn to love serving however you can in whatever vocation you are. This is the best good you can do while you wait for your body in the world to die, is to help your neighbor, right? God doesn't need your good works, your neighbor does. Your vocation and the 10 Commandments teach you what that is. Come on, people. If you want to be great, you're going to learn to love this law. For even the Son of Man, that is me, Jesus, came not to be served, but to serve. And by that I mean to die on the cross, which is what I started this whole conversation by talking about, and you nincompoops can't understand it, so I'm just going to go do it, and afterwards it'll all make sense when I send the Holy Spirit to awaken your life to faith. Mark chapter 10, right? Pretty sweet stuff. Hopefully it helps you out this week, get you by. More differenter style of content, but the same depth of content coming your way over the next few weeks. Bear with us in transition, and I'll try to keep it, posting what's going on so you can know where we are. Until then, Lutheran Ninja Clan, keep it up, keep joining, join more, share these videos, like them, yada, yada, yada. Whatever you do, you gotta rock on.
I saw my arm and I was so scared.